In this video, I found a Christian who likes to insult other Christians.
I wasn't even gonna say nothing about this, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I've been to a couple Diddy parties.
Jesus, I say this all the time, didn't party with sinners, he ate with sinners.
To be honest, there's a mix of work, because this is oftentimes where you go to connect with people.
Everything anti-God. Literally, sin is your entertainment.
Around 1 a.m., make sure you're not here.
I remember when I was unsaved, I used to party with a youth pastor from my city, and I thought Christianity was a joke. How was the youth pastor here at the party with us? Why would I want what you have?
I think there's a lot of Christians that do this thing. I think they think because they have Jesus in their life, they therefore can criticize other people who claim to have Jesus in their life. But the main reason why I'm actually doing it is because I would have loved to have gone to a Hollywood party. I would have loved to go to a party where I meet lots of celebrities. But because of being ignored by them for 11 years, I don't feel like that's actually going to be possible now, because there's going to be a huge amount of distrust. You know, if you've had lots of people do things about you behind your back without talking to you, without communicating with you for 11 years, you know, I think it's going to be very hard to see these people as friendly or people that are on my side. I would still like to go to parties, but I think I would be very selective on where I go.
Okay, I'm reacting to a clip you guys keep sending me of Lecrae talking about what happens at Hollywood parties. This is not for, I would say, 18 and under. So if you're a young person, goodbye. It's time to go clean your room. This is not for young people. I didn't watch this whole clip, but I'm guessing he's going to talk about things that are probably not appropriate for kids. But I do want to react to this video. Guys, make sure you check out my live tab on my channel, because that's where my hundreds of hours of Bible teaching and preaching is. These are reaction videos to get people to the live videos, which are Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at noon. Put it this way, I stream Bible preaching and teaching for 5 hours a week, and I do these videos for 20 minutes a week.
That is actually very concerning, because you are preaching about me 5 hours a week and yet you don't actually know who I am. I've picked up on this video because I love the idea of partying and I would like to know what goes on in Hollywood parties out of curiosity. But yeah, I've listened to some of the things you say and I don't agree, because I actually really like going to parties, or at least I used to, should I say.
So, 95% of my content is Bible teaching and preaching. Go to the live tab to see that. If you've been missing out on that, you're missing what my whole channel is about. My whole channel is about spreading the gospel and equipping the saints to live a supernatural lifestyle. With that being said, let's jump into Lecrae talking about what happens at Hollywood parties. And I'll give you my honest reaction.
I wasn't even gonna say nothing about this, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
That's a way to start. Wasn't gonna say nothing about this, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
I've been to a couple Diddy parties. Now, I'm risking a lot by saying this, because I know as soon as I say that, all the assumptions are gonna come in, and if I don't say evil things were taking place, then I'm covering for them. And if I do say evil things were taking place, then I'm one of them ones like, yeah, Lecrae, expose it. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, I think you saying what you have just said is putting the assumption into people's minds that, of course, there must be things going on in the party, because you are telling people that if you hear about Diddy's party,
as soon as I say that, all the assumptions are gonna come in.
You must know that something is going on there, something evil or something corrupt. Honestly, I just think it's all speculation. But with you and lots of people like you saying that just talking about it means that most people are thinking certain things, that's almost like you are building up the rumor and the belief that strange things go on, and they probably do, but there is different degrees of strange.
And I've been to lots of parties. I've been to Jamie Foxx. I've been with...
What do y'all think about this? I'm curious. Should Christians be at parties, secular Hollywood parties? Here's the thing. In my opinion, Jesus, I say this all the time, didn't party with sinners. He ate with sinners. It's one thing to go out to eat with someone in the celebrity world and talk to them about God. In my opinion, it's another thing to go to their parties. What business does a Christian have being at a secular party, especially a Hollywood party? That's my opinion. I could be wrong.
Yes, I think you are wrong. You are taking a group of people and assuming that they are all the same just because they are from a certain location. Do you know that's considered to be anti-Semitism? You know, the Jewish people are supposed to be a group of people who are all from Jerusalem, hence why they're called the Jews. Or they're Israelites because they're from Israel. So race of people from a location. You know, when people say the Jews are a certain type of people, so you just stay away from them, that's considered to be anti-Semitism. I think humans make it specific to Jewish people. But really, I am Jerusalem and I love movies and films. And since most of the best films come from Hollywood, I would say that Hollywood is my location. You know, you shouldn't judge people just because they're from a certain location. You know, that's what you've just done.
What business does a Christian have being at a secular party, especially a Hollywood party? That's my opinion. I could be wrong.
I think if it was a Las Vegas party, you'd expect gambling. But yeah, you can't assume that every party in Las Vegas includes gambling. That's what you've just done. You just said because they're from Hollywood, there's something corrupt about them, when really there's loads of these people, so you can't consider them to be all the same.
T.I., like, I've been to lots of places. Here's what I'll say.
He's using his words carefully. He's like, I do not want to get canceled talking about this.
There are people who will test you. There are people who will see how far your limits are. And if you're willing to take a step, then they'll take two. I, in my personal experience, never saw anything where someone was like, you can't move any further unless you do X, Y, or Z. But what I did see was, if you do X, Y, or Z, well, keep coming, because you know, and that's how we all are. It's Psalm.
So he's saying basically he didn't see where it was like, you got to sign this demonic contract or go do this dark thing, some humiliation ritual to go to the next level. That definitely does happen. We've heard stories and stories and stories. I know people personally that are in Hollywood that have dealt with it, that have been offered things. But I think maybe to where he was at in his world, no one was offering him that, but it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. I think it definitely does happen.
Right?
I find it really strange how you've listened to that and assumed you know what he's talking about. I was trying to understand him, and I don't think I really did. But it sounded like he thought people were testing him, but not saying that there'd be consequences if you fail the test. But then there were people that encouraged you to fail the test, but then would later try and get you to fail the test in an even bigger way.
There are people who will see how far your limits are. And if you're willing to take a step, then they'll take two.
So push you more and more. That's what I felt like he was saying, but you've kind of ignored everything that he said and just said that he's saying that he never saw it, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen, because, oh, you know, of course it does happen, even though you're trying to watch this video to try and find out what happens.
So he's saying basically he didn't see where it was like, you got to sign this demonic contract or go do this dark thing, some humiliation ritual to go to the next level. That definitely does happen. We've heard stories and stories and stories. I know.
In my view, this guy sounds pretty honest, and these other people who are claiming that they do know that people are signing their life away, you know, a lot of them seem mad in my view, and it feels like to me you're picking up on him because he doesn't seem mad and he does seem like a reliable source. But you're also at the same time saying that just because he says that he didn't see it, that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. So you're trying to play down his story. You know, in my view, he sounds actually quite paranoid.
He says, blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, who does not stand in the way of sinners, who does not sit in the seat of mockers. You start walking, they gonna walk with you, and now you find yourself standing.
He feels like people are constantly testing him and he has to always stay on guard to what's happening. But he doesn't want to say that they were deliberately doing it, but that it was happening. You know, he sounds like he's a Christian that's paranoid about the devil, but is also trying to be open-minded to the fact that these are people who he's just trying to have a good time with because he's at a party. You know, I feel like this is where Christianity kills people, because it teaches them to believe that the world is against you and that most people are just trying to lead you into temptation to do something wrong. And maybe it is, but you shouldn't live in fear that you might fall and do something wrong. You know, you just have to try and do what's right and not be too judgmental. There is things in the Bible that says not to divide people, but at the same time, by teaching things about the devil and God, you know, you are dividing people and making people scared to be on the wrong side.
They like, oh.
Here's the thing I would say about that. If you're really walking that walk and going hard for God, sinners are not going to want to be around you. They're not going to want to go after and hang out with you. And a lot of people get radically saved and they're like, my friends don't want to hang out with me anymore. Yeah, that's because you're going this way, they're going that way. So I can't imagine, you know, being super radical for God in this industry and a bunch of people wanting to be your friend and connect with you. I just don't see that.
Oh, you stand?
I think Lecrae's okay because he's trying to do what's right, but he's getting confused with the Christian teachings. But this Christian is claiming to be more righteous than him because he's saying that you're going to this party, you're hanging out with sinners. Now the true people of God are not going to want to hang out with you. And so in a way he's saying that He knows who the righteous people of God are and who the sinners are, and he's claiming to have more knowledge than Lecrae, and he feels he can do this because he feels that he himself is walking on the right path. But by teaching about these two paths, him being on the right one and the others being on the wrong path, he's actually just creating even more divide, and so is becoming a worse Christian than Lecrae. A sin is to do something that's against God. Why does he think he knows enough about God to know who is a sinner and who is not a sinner? I love partying because it's fun and enjoyable. If I choose not to party in the future, it's because I hate people. But if I do choose to party, that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong about it. But for this other Christian to think that he has the right to judge who's a sinner and who's not, that shows arrogance within himself. There are sins spoken about in the Bible, but who's to say that he's not doing all the things that are mentioned in the Bible, such as blasphemy and corruption and spreading lies? I would argue that all the sins in the Bible are actually aimed at Christians. So Christians who commit these sins should not be attacking other Christians who also commit these sins, and they shouldn't be attacking atheists or people of other religions who also do these exact same things. Technically, a lot of these sins that are mentioned in the Bible are actually things that everyone does. Being a Christian doesn't automatically make you better than everyone else, or doesn't mean that you can get away with doing things just because you have Jesus. Technically, you don't actually have Jesus, therefore anyone who claims that you do or are talking to Jesus or do know Jesus, you're lying because you don't. He's not real, he's a fictional character that's just similar to the average person.
Just don't.
Oh, you
that.
stand? Well, if you stand, come sit. Now, next thing you know, you're sitting.
You do know there's nothing wrong with standing or sitting.
It was never a situation where I felt forced to sit. It was a situations where I was asked, do you stand? Do you stand? And I'm like, I don't stand. Oh, okay, cool. And then I was left alone.
I think you need to stop seeing one thing as being good and one thing as bad, but rather just say, you know what, there's good in standing and there's good in sitting. This is how you should actually see good and bad. There's good and bad in everything. But what there's only good in is there's only good in smartness and seeing the good and bad in both.
It's like, oh, he's not about that life. He's not with it. I'm leaving him alone. And this is what I'll say, and I won't say whose party I was at or what party, but this is a crazy situation, right? I was at one of these parties, and
I'm not trying to be rude, but as a man of God, why put yourself in a position where you're at a party where drugs, sex, everything anti-God, literally sin is your entertainment?
No, why are you clumping all these people together and assuming that everyone at the party is the same? And of course, let's remind you that you're talking about a group of people that you have not met, not known. You don't know even who you're talking about. You're just talking about people at this party that you never attended. Not everyone at a party does drugs. I have been to many parties, not many house parties, but I've been to loads of nightclubs. I have no clue who's doing drugs, who isn't. I know I'm not. I know I'm not going to spend or waste my money on it. I'm a strong person. I know what I want to do and what I don't want to do. And therefore you can put me in as much temptation as I want, and I'm very unlikely to agree to it. I do massage for a living, as an example, and I'm constantly surrounded by temptation. As in, will you do this or that for money? And okay, I did agree to start wearing bikinis, because I see nothing wrong with that. Because there isn't anything wrong with that. I go to a spa all the time. I wear bikinis in front of people all the time. Although technically they're tankinis. But yeah, even if I had have started doing hand jobs, that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong about it. I did whip a couple of guys. I did have a shower of one or two. But just because I agreed to do certain things, that doesn't mean that I was wrong. At the end of the day, it was my choice. And sometimes you do things for money because you can buy nice things with the money that you make. What negotiations you make, that's your choice, and you shouldn't be criticizing or putting other people down for making choices that you might not have made, because at the end of the day, you don't actually know the difference between right or wrong. If you think that having a shower with someone for a tenner is wrong, then you don't know what wrong is, because at the end of the day, how can something be wrong if it's your personal choice and if it doesn't harm anyone else?
Think about that. Sin is the entertainment at a party. The thing that Christ died for on the cross as, he was beat, bruised, and whipped for. That's what entertains people at a party. And I used to party all the time before I was saved. I was a party guy. I was drinking almost every day, even during the week. I just, what business does a Christian have there? Well,
come on, think about what you're saying. What, a man got nailed to a cross, beaten, bruised, and severely hit and killed. Why? To stop people from going to parties? Because people going to parties is a sin? I mean, that doesn't make sense.
Well, we're going to bring light there. Yeah, but you could say that about anything and anywhere. I get it, but are you bringing light there? Most people that say they're bringing light aren't bringing anything.
Being entertained by a party has nothing to do with a man who died on a cross 2,000 years ago. To think it does just shows how insane Christians are and how they're trying to stop people from having fun by telling them nonsense that's not true.
They're not bringing anything but maybe a water because everyone else is drinking, they don't want to drink. So if we're really saying, and a Christian really at a party, we should be bringing light, we should be ministering, we should be sharing our faith with people, if that's why we say we're there.
What you've just done is similar to what the Victorians did when it comes to photography. You know, they used to tell people not to smile in front of a picture because, I don't know, that was wrong in some way. No, it's not. I, though, see it as a way of them expressing how unhappy they were back then. So likewise, if Christians think it's wrong to go to a party, I feel like it's actually just an expression of how unhappy their soul is, but they're too stupid to realize it. Or maybe the guy speaking is actually just jealous that he wasn't invited. I know that's how I'm feeling right now.
But just being there and hanging out against the wall and being a part of it as a Christian is not beneficial to anybody.
For me,
I might go to like Maya's parties. That is Maya Rodriguez, or Maya, whose surname I don't actually know. Angel of the family. Maybe I'll go to Jacqueline Glenn's as well. I don't know. There's a few people who I probably would go to party with, but I don't think I'm going to want to party with most people. But I want to watch this video because I want to think about it. I also have quite a lot of insults to give towards people, Christians particularly, who do this. They pick on other Christians and other faults that they think they see in people, but really I don't think they are faults, and I don't think they should be criticizing or being judgmental over the things that they are judgmental about.
I'll be honest, there's a mix of work, because this is oftentimes where you go to connect with people, where you go to meet people. And I have met people here and I have built bonds, and they have said, I have met actors and celebrities who said, man, thank you for being here. I needed your presence here. You're the reason why I know God is walking with me. And we've had conversations since.
Yeah, but why? I'm not trying to be critical, but why do you want a celebrity telling you you're the reason why I know God is walking with me? I would be like, honestly, the way you're living, I don't think God is walking with you.
I call bullshit on that one. I think you are massively jealous that some celebrities might actually believe that this guy does have a connection with God, are complimented by him being there. And I think you're just taking this opportunity to insult him because you can. Because I bet you think that God isn't going to prove you wrong or say that you're wrong. Well, I am actually listening. I'm God and you're wrong. As for him, I think that he is seeking God. He is really wanting a connection with God.
I'm hanging on by a thread, and all I'm clinging to is prayers. And every breath is like a battle. I feel like I ain't come prepared.
And he likes it and is complimented when people compliment him about how he is connecting with God. Is he? Maybe, maybe not.
But when you got nobody to turn to, just hold on and I'll find you.
But I think he's more so connected than the guy who made this video.
I'm smiling in everyone's face. I'm crying whenever they leave the room. They don't know the battle I face. They don't understand what I'm going through.
Like I said, I think you're facing paranoia from the lies that Christians are telling you, making you feel like you're in a constant battle because they're telling you that you're worshipping the wrong side, or, you know, there's a paranoia over which side you're on.
Just fight a little longer, my friend. It's all worth it in the end.
That there is another mistake that Christians tend to preach, you know, keep fighting, keep up the good fight. When really it's just like, no, don't fight. Just learn to be happy and try and just see the good and bad in everything.
If you're the celebrity in Hollywood unsaved at a party, it's likely God is not walking with you, so why would my presence validate that for you? And I'm not trying to be petty, rude. I don't dislike Lecrae. I just think, like, why do I want a celebrity telling me They should, like, anyways, why would I want them telling me, yeah, you're the reason why I know God is walking with me? I would have told the celebrity, like, honestly, the way you're living, God probably isn't.
That's where they're like,
if Christians have the false belief that Christians are the ones in the right, they're going to get very confused, because they're going to listen to guys like this and think that, okay, this guy's in the right. This guy obviously has the right to judge this other person and say that, you know, you're not following God because you appreciate a comment from a celebrity, you know. If people look up to Christians, they're going to look up to this guy and get deceived about what's right and what's wrong. You've got to be careful who you have friends with, because some friends are actually just people that are insulting other people whilst claiming to be righteous.
But when that ocean of doubt comes, don't let me drown in my sorrow, and don't let me stay at the bottom. I feel like this hole is too deep to climb. I've been looking for a way out, but I'll settle for a peace of mind.
man, thank you so much. I appreciate you, because how you gonna be a light if you never in the dark? Now, if you cannot handle being in the dark, stay up out of certain places, right?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that for sure. Some people can't handle being in these environments.
Don't play tug of war by yourself. I never went to these events by myself. I was always with people who were walking in the light, and we always had a mission. It was never just to go in there and wild out and be stupid. But the other side of the coin is, yes, if I'm a human, so I'm frail. I'm gonna be honest with you. There was moments for me of like, oh my gosh, I'm here. I'm part of the crew. Like, look at me. Yes, I struggle.
He's definitely being vulnerable, talking about, you know, the struggles
with acceptance and wanting to be associated with greatness. And I got caught up in some of that nonsense.
See, I have a problem with that. He wants to be associated with greatness. How are they great? How are wicked, sinful people that are partying in Hollywood producing albums about drugs and killing and abusing women? How are they great?
Seriously, how are you great? You've picked up on a comment about how he feels great hanging out with these sort of great, famous people. People who he has not named, people who he's not actually talking about. Producers you don't know who exists because they aren't famous, you know. To just assume that anyone he's hanging out with is bad or not worthy to be considered great in any way is a terrible way of looking at life. I know there are a lot of terrible songs that do just promote sex, drugs and prostitution, but you can't assume that you know that they are all at this party, because at the end of the day, it's just a Hollywood party. He's been so general and vague about who's actually there. And you've picked up on this comment and just been like, well, how are they great? And it's almost like you're implying that they're not great. Oh, but you are great. You've got Jesus, so you're more great. You know, you can't hang out with people at the party because they're not great. You need to hang out with people that don't want to hang out in the darkness, because being in the darkness is being in this party. You know, you've got such a twisted view on reality, and you just think that, you know, your people, your kind, your views are the righteous ones. You know, some people can't handle being in the darkness, like you're acknowledging that he said that going to this party was like being in the darkness. And it's just like, no, him going to this party wasn't him being in the darkness, and you shouldn't support this idea or this ideology that it is darkness being in a party. True, he does say later on that there was this one party where people were having at it on a sofa. But yeah, he doesn't specifically say that the party that he's referring to in this story is that same party or that same scenario.
I really, guys, have a problem with Christian artists, whether you're hip hop, whether you're country, I don't care what you're in, looking up to secular celebrities and secular, let me know in the comments right now if I'm wrong, but we look up to these musicians saying, look at this great album that like Michael Jackson had, or whatever, whoever it is. Look at Lil Wayne, P. Diddy, this great album they had. Christian artists say that. How is their album great? How is their talent great? They're using it for darkness. There's nothing great in God's eyes about that.
Well, I say there's nothing great in people's eyes who claim to know what's in God's eyes when they don't know me.
I struggle when Christians say, I'm not just pointing Lecrae out here, I struggle when Christians say the secular artist or actor has greatness and is great. Because I don't see that biblically. If somebody's sinful and a sinner and wicked, how is that considered great in the eyes of God? Because all that matters is what God thinks.
Hello, you don't know what God thinks. Also, secular just means not having anything to do with religion, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't have anything to do with God, because actually all the songs are about God. Okay, I don't agree with all of them, but you don't know me and you don't know how they relate to me, so you shouldn't talk for me. And by saying that Christians shouldn't have anything to do with secular music, it's similar to saying Christians shouldn't go to the cinema to watch a film that's not about religion. Christians shouldn't eat food if it doesn't link to a religion. You know, how far would you take this secular movement? Should we not wear clothes that Jesus wouldn't have worn or something like this? I think it's more about you liking to criticize other people.
And what is success to God? It's reaching people. It's being a good husband. It's being a good father. It's working with your hands. It's living a peaceful life. It's living holy. It's showing up to church. It's fasting. It's prayer. It's not being a celebrity or an artist in Hollywood. They have no value in the God's kingdom.
That's absolute nonsense, completely ridiculous. I don't like people going to church. I don't like religion. I don't like all the things that Christians promote, which is largely obedience to a God you can't hear or talk to, which doesn't make sense. I do love Hollywood, I do love actors, I do love influencers. And these people have far more value because people actually listen to them, people actually watch them, people actually follow them. You know, if God is going to lead a kingdom and create a new kingdom, she needs to get the leaders, the people at the top, the people with the money, the people who the public look up to and follow. She needs to get those people on her side. If you're going against these people, I feel like you're just stupid for not seeing the truth. Why do you want to back the underdog team? Did you not hear the saying in the Bible that the first will be last and the last will be first?
What I will say is that one particular party, lots of big names, there was an artist there who said, hey, Lecrae, around 1 a.m., make sure you're not here. And I was like, what?
Why even be at a party like that, though? If secular people are saying you probably shouldn't be here, at 1 a.m. you shouldn't be here, you probably shouldn't be at that party at all. If a secular person could recognize, an unsaved person could recognize, yeah, bro, you probably shouldn't even be here. What are you doing here?
If someone told me not to be here at 1 o'clock, that would only make me want to be there till 1 o'clock even more. But it's true, if it turns into a sex orgy, I'll just walk away.
Here's the thing. I'm not trying to rail on Lecrae here or be rude. This is the first time I'm seeing this clip. If I am a secular person seeing a Christian at the party with me, I'm thinking, why would I want what they have? They're here with me partying. Now, he's not partying. He's saying, I'm not there partying, but it looks like it to them. I remember when I was unsaved, I used to party with a youth pastor from my city, and I thought Christianity was a joke.
You know, it's really horrible how you're calling people who aren't Christians unsaved people. So people who are Christians are saved people, and people who are not Christian are unsaved people. You know, that's a really horrible way of looking at it. My view is that you were a better person when you saw it as a joke.
How was the youth pastor here at the party with us? Why would I want what you have? I genuinely used to think that. I was an atheist, cussing at God. Why would I want what this dude has? He's out here partying with me. And you know what's crazy? When I got saved, he was the guy telling me to calm down. He was the guy telling me to settle down. So if a secular person says at 1 a.m. you shouldn't be here, you probably just shouldn't be there at 8 p.m. either. And I'm not trying to rail on Lecrae. Again, you're like, you must not like Lecrae. No, not at all. That's not it. I like Lecrae. I have nothing against him. I just don't understand this mentality.
Don't want to be here at 1 in the morning. There was a couch, and on the couch, I saw a couple of guys really going at it, hard and heavy.
Disgusting.
And
this is what's happening at these parties. These are what the people are doing that you guys are like, oh, these great celebrities, let's buy their album. These are the people that are voting in demonic leaders, demonic presidents, and the ones that are standing for this alphabet community agenda. And this is what they do at parties. It's despicable. It is.
Man.
No, what I find despicable is the fact that he's not told you who these people are. He's not told you anything about them other than the fact that they were having sex. Okay, I don't really necessarily agree with the act, but having at it could actually just mean kissing. You know, I don't actually know what going at it means. It could mean many things. He has not told you that they are people who are making big decisions for the country. He has not told you that they are singers or celebrities or producers. He just said that there's celebrities at the party, but that doesn't mean that the people that were on the sofa were celebrities. I mean, maybe they were just drunk people that sneaked in or something. I mean, I doubt that was the truth. But you don't know. If you don't know something, then you shouldn't make speculations and insult people. You're insulting people you know nothing about in a party that you know nothing about. I don't even know why you're bothering to pick up on this interview. You know, I wanted to watch this interview, but I did it because I was hoping he would actually talk about the Hollywood parties, you know, say things like, were there strippers there? Were they wearing costumes? Were there like some really hot, sexy stripper policeman guys there? You know, I have a thing for seeing really hot, sexy black dudes in police outfits because I don't think there's enough black police officers, because there's a lot of people that keep saying that there's a lot of racism in the police force. So yeah, you know, I would like to hear like details about the story. Were there jelly babies? Was there a pool or a jacuzzi or you know, that's kind of why I'm listening to sure I'm listening because I want to know details, and he's not really giving any details. I did take out about 30 seconds of the conversation because all he was saying was that he was walking from room to room going upstairs, and then the music changed.
Jam and dancing music, it was a little softer. You know, it was a little more sensual when I came out the studio and started going upstairs.
I don't need to add all that. He was making it a bit long-winded as well, but I want to know things and he's not saying anything, and you're saying that he is saying things, but you're just trying to use anything that he'll say to try and insult people that you know nothing about. And I think the real reason why he's not naming the celebrity names is probably because if he did name them, there'll probably be lots of people like me that'll be like, is that a celebrity? Who's that? I don't know. You know, there's loads and loads of films and series and dramas and stuff, and if you mention their names, I would have no clue who you're talking about. So I doubt they're like big name celebrities. Or if they are, he probably doesn't want people to think that those people are associated with sex orgies when in truth they are just there for other reasons. I don't know. I'm not saying that no, they're not involved, and I'm not saying they are involved. I'm saying I don't know. And that is what this Christian, who also doesn't know, should actually be saying, if he really was an honest preacher.
As I started moving upstairs, I passed them up and I noticed that it wasn't just those two guys. It was more and more people just going at it. I was like, okay, it's time for me to roll. I'm going to grab my stuff and I'm going to get up out of here. I did not know that's how this went down. So was that shocking? Absolutely. Was I forced or coerced into anything? I was not. But
why put yourself in that environment?
Why they felt that comfortable? I don't know. Maybe the invite list, they was like, yeah, all these people, I don't know.
See, again, why they felt that comfortable is because you're not taking a stand. They feel comfortable. Like, ask yourself this, not Lecrae, but you guys watching, why are people so comfortable sitting around you?
That took an unexpected turn. These holy people are very unpredictable. This guy has just found himself kind of in a sex party without realizing it. And the guy has spun it round to make out that they were deliberately sinning because it was around him, like he had something to do with it.
Ask yourself this, not Lecrae, but you guys watching, why are people so comfortable sitting around you?
I'm pretty sure this had nothing to do with Lecrae being there. You know, they weren't deliberately doing this because they felt comfortable around him or something. He was just there and witnessed it. And technically, sinning is doing something against God, and yeah, people can do whatever they want with their bodies. That's not what I call sin. It is, though, reminding me of what I'm watching my male guppies do. Got a fish tank where these male guppies seem to just be having lots of sex with each other. By that I mean rubbing their little penises against each other. I don't see it as a sin. I see it as stupid behaviour, or maybe they're just bored, but I'm not going to try and stop them or anything. And at the end of the day, it's their choices. I'm glad that they have the choice to make decisions. True, I don't really think that it's a good decision, but whatever. It's not for me to judge your decisions if they're not causing harm.
Is there that conviction in your life, that holiness in your life where people should feel convicted around you? Like, oh, I don't want to cuss around with Isaiah. I don't want to cuss around so-and-so. I felt convicted. He's not carrying that around, especially at these parties where people don't feel bad about doing these things. So that, to me, that's just like, yeah, I don't understand it.
I'm shocked that it went down. But I've been to another situation, another person's party, celebrity party. And
again, how do you find yourself in this situation again? Why are you at these parties?
You know, a celebrity tapped me on my shoulder and I was hanging out with them and they was like, yo, nephew, you might want to go into the other party because this cabana, we about to close it up. And they closed up the cabana and there was about 3 or 4 big name artists in there. And a whole bunch of ladies start walking in that cabana and a security guard stood in front of the door. Hey, they didn't coerce me. They didn't ask me to come in. And matter of fact, they said, you probably should not be in this cabana. You probably just want to go up.
Again, the second time secular people are saying you shouldn't be here. And some of you guys are at parties and your friends are like, why are you here? You probably shouldn't be
back out there with the cocktail.
This sounds like one of the most boringest sex party stories I've ever heard. People telling you shouldn't be here, and then they walk into a cabana. I don't actually know what a cabana is. I have no clue, but this just sounds like people have just walked into a room and told you to go away. Are you actually telling a story, or are you just trying to bore people with nonsense and nothingness? I think your life is very boring if these are all the stories you have. I have a bit of a story. Okay, it's not really a story because I didn't actually go with it, but someone called me up talking about a massage and saying, hey, would I come and massage people at a swingers party? I said no, and that was kind of the end of the conversation, but hey, it's just as interesting as your story.
and the hanging out and the hobnobbing. And shout out to my guy Brandon T. Jackson, man. Brandon T. Jackson.
I'm not too sure why there was a bad cut there, but I don't know. This is just what the maker of the YouTube video did.
At this particular party, Brandon T. came up to me and he said, yo, man, like Satan will steal your soul in this industry, bro. And he was really like, I loved the fact that he felt like, he's like, I love your soul and your spirit and I want you to thrive, Cray. I don't want you to get devoured out here. And I just appreciated that because for him, he was like, he has seen some detriments and some of the dark side of things. And he was like, yo, I want you to be taken care of. So I say all that to say, like, I never felt like it was some secret occult or secret like thing. I felt like there were areas.
And there definitely is, that is going on. The secret occult stuff, he probably wasn't exposed to it, but 1000% it's going on. I have a friend recently that came out of that whole world and got all these offers and was high up in Hollywood and one of the top people on YouTube. And yeah, that for sure, demonic stuff is going on. I've heard from multiple people that I know that came out of that world that were big celebrities, you know, 10 million plus subscribers on YouTube, and they attest that demonic stuff is definitely going on.
There's so many people who would say this, but then if you try and look at the evidence behind why they believe what they believe, they would take like a clip of some conspiracy theorist who looks like he's on drugs and try and use that as evidence that it's happening. I mean, I know that there is stuff happening, yes, and I'm trying to find out what, and I want to know what, but I'm not really getting any useful information because the only people that seem to be talking about it are people that seem to be either Christians who are just lying about things and claiming to know things that they don't, e.g. like this guy who's just started claiming that he knows exactly who's at this party even though he has no clue who's at this party. You know, how can you trust the view of someone if these same people are happy to claim that they know exactly who's at this party when clearly they don't? The other people who seem to promote demon possession are people who are just trying to win over people into the Christian religion. It's like what the Bible says, you know, beware of people who lie to spread their false message and indoctrinate people into a sort of false religion. That is what Christianity is all about. I don't see the point in watching this video anymore because I'm not getting any information from it. I'm just trying to show you how annoying it is and how frustrating it is for me to have to listen to people who are claiming to talk for me and yet they're actually just talking lies whilst claiming to be the righteous ones.
Are you there to get connections, to network, to be cool, to post it on Instagram, to get a new deal? Or are you there to spread the gospel? 116, which is his company. I'm unashamed. It's the power of God unto salvation. Am I there to bring light? Is there testimonies of me sharing my faith? Is it fruitful? Are people getting saved, healed, delivered at these parties because I'm praying for them, I'm evangelizing? Probably not, or they wouldn't have kept inviting him. He's getting invited because people have no problem with his lifestyle.
I think Lecrae is an example of someone who wants to find God, who wants to do the right thing by God, but is getting very confused and misled by Christians. Christians who are too keen to want to insult him and criticize him, and that's just leaving him feeling down and miserable like he's doing something wrong.
People should have a problem with our lifestyle. They should be like, I don't want to party around you. You're trying to pray for people and witness to people. So, and again, I'm not trying to be this stickler and, you know, being negative about Lecrae. And guys, in the comments, let me know if I'm crazy or not. I just think there's no business a Christian has at these parties.
So he's questioning everything that he's doing and getting paranoid over it because of all this criticism from Christians, whilst he himself is in a way looking up to Christians because he thinks that they do have the truth because they are claiming to be righteous when really they're not.
Right now.
Really just people hanging around by the pool, talking, having conversations. Some people dancing, some people walking. You know, oh, what's up, Jimmy Iovine? What's up, Madonna? Chris Brown? How y'all doing? You know, you talking. You have a whole conversation. You can share your whole testimony standing next to somebody by Jamie Foxx's pool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can, but do you? That's the thing. And I'm not just talking about Lecrae, anybody. Are you sharing your testimony at these things? That's what we want to know.
Again, it wasn't one of those situations where it was crazy. And I've been to tons of these industry events, like tons of them. So it's, what do you want to get yourself into? You know, what do you, if you want to.
I want to know your guys' thoughts. Maybe I'm being overly harsh. My opinion is like, man, if you're supposed to be the light, how are you being the light if people in the secular world are telling you you shouldn't be here? I don't believe Christians belong at parties, especially like this. Again, if you're going there to evangelize, witness, it'll probably be the last one you ever go to or get invited to. But this idea that we're looking up to celebrities, we're excited about what they're doing, that they're great, we want to be around greatness, I don't buy it. I don't believe in it. I think we need to be the light. We need to be separate. Come out from among them. That's literally what the Bible says. Come out from among them. What fellowship? Paul's asking, what fellowship does light have with darkness? You tell me. Paul says, you tell me. How does an unbeliever and a believer walk together? They don't, because the beliefs of an unbeliever are antithetical to the beliefs of a believer. We don't walk with them. We don't talk with them. And we can reach them and preach to them and evangelize to them, but nobody comes to the Father unless the Spirit draws them. So yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm not trying to be harsh, not trying to be rude. Again, I want you to comment right now. Let me know what you think. Yes, I agree with you, Isaiah. No, you're off. Because I want to hear differing opinions if I'm off. I just don't think any Christian has a spot here. Are we surprised by what happens at these parties? Of course not.
Because all he actually said was that he saw a few people having sex and the rest of the parties was just him talking casually to people.
If he told me that they were, drinking blood and doing, I wouldn't be surprised. They were doing all these crazy rituals, I wouldn't be surprised. Sexual stuff, not surprised. It's wicked, it's shameful, and as Christians, we shouldn't be exposed to that. I don't want to see that.
No, you shouldn't be spreading lies and rumors based on something that someone did not say. If you listen to the interview, he never said any of this. You were just trying to take everything that he said and try and say that, oh, he's wrong, he just doesn't know, and then try and use that almost as evidence that it is happening, even though he actually said that it wasn't happening or he didn't see it. Stories like this, though, really make me want to do all the things that Christians think they are doing in parties, I hear this and I just think, I really hope that there are some people just mocking Christians by setting up some sort of fake demon ritual and getting them to see it out of like an accidental chance or whatever. Do you know what I would love to do, actually? I would love to have a model of Jesus where I literally tear him into pieces, and then I can use that as a way of getting Christians to hate me just because I want to get Christians to hate me because they're stupid. I want Christians to turn against me because these people are claiming to speak for me, claiming to know me, claiming to be righteous and be on my side, and yet all they're doing is just lying, shit stirring, saying rumors, but saying that they're 1,000% true because they have all the evidence, even though they're not even showing the evidence. I think they love Christianity because there's no real proof that Jesus was real, and yet millions of people worship and accept it, and so they think, well, if they can believe in that, even though there's no real proof, they too can make up lies and take evidence that doesn't exist and use it as evidence. It's like they get to form their own little religion in whatever way that they want. Trying to use stories of things that people didn't say to try and prove that things happened when they didn't say that it happened. And then they make out that they know big-time celebrities who have millions of hits, and yet they don't actually reveal the person's name. It's almost like because they're embarrassed or they know that it's not the truth or something. I would love to be in some sort of demonic ritual where I really do get the Christians stirred up, because I would find it very funny. Seriously, what Lil Nas did on that recent video of his where he's kind of insulting Jesus, that is not insulting Jesus compared to what I actually want to do to Jesus. And I really want Christians to hate me, so I would love to make a music video where I'm literally chopping Jesus into pieces. I think that would be so funny. And that would definitely get a stir. And then all the Christians can hate me back and want bad things to happen to me. Woo! Kids can be fun sometimes. Bloody bleeders at other times.